1 kilo.
So right now is a good time to get rid of Flying W and put in Hamilton, which is 1227.
November 3, Juliet Alpha, contact Atlantic City approach 12.
So it's kilohertz, which is the outside one. Sorry, I should have let you switch it. There you go. You got it. And we can just listen to McGuire for a couple more minutes because we're in their airspace. They're right behind you, and you're looking out for your. So bad news is, while you were climbing out, we flew past Medford Lake. So there's Shawnee High School.
Okay.
That's a good visual reference point. And then Atsign Lake is not these two lakes, so you still have a couple minutes before we get to Atsign Lake, but you're still heading pretty much due south. You could probably make a little right turn. Yeah. There you go. You're not far off track here. But that high school is a good point. You know,
Yes,
it should be out your right window. It could, as long as you see it after we get going.
Yeah, and I can see the tennis place.
Oh, the tennis, I forgot. So you did know where the tennis place was, so that's not completely foreign to you. And then Atsign Lake, can we see that from here? I'm not sure.
Yes, we don't. Well, it should be. It should be coming up.
I mean, I can actually see Hamilton Airport from here, but let's find the lake first. It's not these two little ones.
Right.
And just watch, you're in a pretty steep descent right now, so let's just go 2,500. You can do a cruise checklist when you get there, which will just be a couple items. I'll read them to you if you want. Some of them we're not even going to do. One of them is going to be turn off the lights. So when you get to 2,500, we're going to reduce the power to, say, 23, 24. Flaps, make sure they're up. Lights, we'll leave our lights on because we're in the vicinity of an airport. Mixture, we're going to leave that alone today. Elevator trim adjust for level flight. Flight following, we're just listening on McGuire, and cruise checklist complete.
Copy that.
So normally there's, even in my plane, there's quite a bit more items in the cruise checklist, but this is pretty simple. Okay, so we still don't see Atsign Lake yet, but probably if you're...
it's right there, actually. We're kind of, I should be on the right side of it.
You definitely are heading, I wouldn't turn yet. You were on the good heading of 180.
Okay.
These little, these two rivers down here are kind of a good indication too, because you can see the grayish color in the green forest. There's some swamps that run through here. One of them comes out of Atsign Lake. So now, that's the beach at Atsign Lake. You see the sand beach?
That's how I see it. That's why I was going to get over that side a bit.
Oh, you don't have to do anything crazy though, because it's better that you can see it and that you're not like on the wrong side. And then when you get a beam at Atsign Lake, if you look heading 210, right? That's the runway heading. Just look down.
Oh, I see it.
You see the airport, right? So it's that easy to find.
Right.
So you can go ahead and turn toward the airport. And then our next problem is we don't know anything about the wind at...
so we need to change that frequency, which is 122.7.
Yeah, you already did that. You can go ahead and switch that over, though. Sorry. Yeah, you just changed it. There we go.
Turning 1, base runway 29, touch and go, Jets County.
How do you turn the volume up?
Hang on. So there's the airport. So we just want to fly right to the airport. So just hang on to 2,500 here.
Skyhawk 2 Sierra Papa is a beam of numbers, simulating engine out 24, Ocean County.
So we're going to see if we can turn on the AWAS down here. I don't know. We might be too far away. Yeah, I think we're a little bit far. We'll try it again when we get it closer. The other thing we can do is just overfly the airport and look at the windsock, which is probably the safer thing to do. So we're listening to their frequency. There's nobody down there right now. It's a problem. I'll see if I can get a runway. We got winds calm.
So winds are calm.
Yeah, so you could probably plan on landing. I mean, we were just down here and everybody was landed on 2-1.
Oh,
but
copy that.
It'd be better to overfly the airport and actually see what the windsock says. So, overflying the airport, you might want to get down here. Do you know where the windsock is? I'm just gonna tell you so you can remember next time. It's about 2/3 of the way down the runway on the far side, on the right side.
Copy.
In the grass. It's not bright orange, it's kind of faded orange, so it's a little hard to see sometimes. And you'd want it out your window. So here's my suggestion. The traffic pattern at Hamilton looks like
1053 or something.
Well, it's going to be left for runway 3, and it's going to be left for runway 21, so it's all left.
Yes.
So if you get out on this side, entering on a 45, turns out the wind is favoring runway 3. If it's favoring 3, you can just land on 3.
Okay.
And if you see the wind's blowing the other way, then you got to come all the way around and go this way. Or you can overfly the field, you know, at 2,000 feet and see what it looks like. But one thing we can do is come out, I don't know, see where this sod farm is?
Yes.
Just shy of that, come out here and go in on a 45-degree angle as if you were going to land on runway 3.
Copy that.
And then if it turns out when you get over and you see the windsock that it's not favoring runway 3, we're just going to do a crosswind, downwind base and final for 2-1. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
You seem like you have good situational awareness, so I'm going to let you try that. So just remember the windsock is over on this side of the field, 2/3 of the way down. It's a little faded. We're looking for where the small end is pointed. That's the end we want to land on.
So we're going to overfly it at what height?
I would just enter into the pattern, and you'll be on an upwind.
Right.
You'll either be on a downwind for 3 or an upwind for 2-1.
Okay.
There's nobody here right now, so it's not a
big deal.
So one thing we do have to do, though, is take some power out and descend down to pattern altitude, which here is somewhere right around 1,100 feet. Let me grab that for you. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, traffic pattern here is 1065.
1065, okay.
So if you turn right to the field right now, you're on a 45 for runway 3. Right where I said, just before this turf farm.
Okay. Just before, I was going on the outside.
That's okay, we're good. You see what's going on now though, right? If you fly right over this building on this side. Good. So hear that airspeed sound, the wind sound picking up. So we're descending at 1,500 feet. That's probably a little bit steep.
Okay.
You just don't want to be getting yourself, because if anything goes wrong and you're descending at 1,500 feet, it just compounds. But you're gonna roll right out here at 1065 and you'll be fine. So the windsock, if you just pretend there's another windsock in the middle of the field by that taxiway too.
Yes.
And if I had to guess, I say it's favoring landing on runway 3. So Hamilton traffic, Skyhawk 62862, we're going to be left downwind for runway 3 Hamilton. Does that make sense to you?
Yes,
I can now see all the windsocks appear to be favoring 3. So we blew through the bottom of the pattern, so just go ahead and turn, get yourself situated on a nice left downwind. And let's confirm my windsock, nope, that's not right. See the windsock is right here? So it is. Those things I was looking at aren't windsocks, they're runway signs.
Looks
so,
dead.
Yeah, it looks pretty dead. So let's go ahead and do a crosswind and we'll land on 2-1.
Copy that.
Hamilton traffic 62862, we're gonna be left crosswind, we're gonna land runway 21 Hamilton. Okay, so let's get up to 1,000 feet, 1065, you got lots of time here. You can turn crosswind now, that'll actually keep you out of any danger. The sooner you turn, the less likely another aircraft is gonna depart into us. Watch your ball, look at your rudder. Add some right rudder and left aileron and that'll be a nice coordinated crosswind. So you can roll out here and make this a nice 90-degree turn to the downwind. There you go. So you're at 1065 approximately. So now you just want to start slowing the plane down and don't descend yet. Beautiful. This is a nice downwind. Just lift your nose a little bit, bring your power back to 1800. Carb heat on.
Carb heat is on.
And anytime below 110, you can add the first notch of flaps.
Okay. Anytime below 110?
Yeah, there's a note right here. I can't see it, but
okay.
So we're getting, yeah, just come out just a hair to the left, right, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a note right here. Actually, it's right, where is it? Anyway, we'll find that in a second.
Yeah.
There's a flap operating range. It's right here, 110.
Okay.
First notch is 110. Raphael just reminded me of that. I'm always yelling at him, and he was actually right. He was in the flap operating range. Most Cessnas let you drop the first notch. That actually helps you slow down into the white arc. So we need to be descending at this point a little bit. There you go, that's beautiful. Look back at the runway because you're heading a little bit into the base leg. Yeah. And so that's a pretty decent descent rate. You can go ahead and just get the nose down just a little bit. There you go. And then you can go ahead and turn left base. As soon as you turn left base and you're rolled out, you want to get that next notch of flaps in. This looks good. This should work out perfectly. I think you'll be rolled out and stabilized. So let's roll out and another notch of flaps. You're in the white arc. That was a nice square turn. I like it. And we don't want to overshoot, so if you're going to do anything, I would turn a little bit early. And then keep that nose down, though. You don't want to bleed any airspeed off. So now intercept. Come out this way and intercept as far out as possible.
Okay.
Because you want to be stabilized. So there's 500 feet. You got full flaps. You're aligned with the runway. Your power's set. Your flaps are set. Your carb heat's on. Your fuel's on both. We're ready for a go-around if we need one. We'll do a full stop landing.
Copy that.
This looks perfect. You're about 50 feet high. I wouldn't even worry about it. Just land long, or you can take a little bit of power out if you want. Just put your head over here and see where you are relative to the runway.
Okay.
The windsock is kind of dead, so the runway center line's over here somewhere, so let's use a little aileron, little right aileron. There you go, that did it. Beautiful, beautiful. Little power, just a touch. Nice, nice, that was beautiful. I'm gonna just get this for you and we'll do a go around here. Can you see,
Flaps are up.
flaps are up. Full power.
Full power, we have 60.
There's 60, we're gonna rotate and carb beats off, mixture's full rich. We need to get to VY.
76.
That's 71. Let's get to 76 and you can have the plane back right now.
Yeah,
Check
76.
the trim wheel. Hamilton traffic 62862, touch and go, airborne runway 21, close traffic. Okay, so that was a very nice landing. Why don't you do one more here?
Roger that.
Yeah, your situational awareness seems to be good to very good. Some people do not have perfect spatial awareness. You seem like that's not going to be your problem. Your radio calls are good. Checklists are good. So let's just keep building off of that. That was a good landing, though. You had a really, really couple good landings here last week.
Yes, I did.
So one trick is to be super parallel to the runway. So everybody has a tendency, because their brain wants to get on the base leg and land the plane. Unfortunately, that is not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to fly really parallel, 90-degree turns to the runway. And so when you point the plane that way, it shortens your base leg to something like half of what it's supposed to be, and then you end up overshooting the runway and all kinds of cascading problems.
Yes.
None of which are good. Okay, so this is the perfect distance from the runway. Look out there. Before you turn base, look back at the runway. Before you turn final, make sure you know exactly where the runway is. It always helps, especially since it's on your side, to know where it is. Okay, so you've already done everything. You got your carb heat on, you got 1-notch flaps, your power is set, and you're in a beautiful descent, or there you go. This lags a little, so
right.
Use this sight picture. That's high, that's it right there. I lost my, I had a couple instrument covers with me, and somehow I lost them. They can't be far. Just had them 10 minutes ago.
Hamilton traffic, 62862, turning left base, 21 Hamilton traffic.
I'm going to cover this up. It's a lagging instrument and it gets people really confused, so use this sight picture out the window. Just keep an eye on that ball. That's really important in this turn. This all looks really good though. So we get a little bit far away from the runway.
Pretty sure
so
they're today.
yeah, well, there might be a little wind pushing you this way. I was trying to find that thing and I didn't see that, but yeah, you can just add some power, and we're going to need to fly back into the glide slope because you can see we might be a tad low, maybe not. So I think the wind might be coming from, okay, so you're right on the glide path. You just need to get aligned with the runway, and you have 150 feet left to do that. So come out this way a little bit and use the, there you go. Pretend there's a string at the far end of the runway with a tack on it. You're trying to line that string up with the airplane, and the string should be right over the center line all the way down. If you look at the far end of the runway, sometimes that helps. This is perfect. So you couldn't be in a better situation. You're stabilized at 500 feet. You're on the glide path. You're maybe 10 feet high right now, so yeah, there you go. So we don't want to go through the bottom of the glide path, but just point the nose toward the third stripe, which you're doing right now. It feels like we might have a little bit of wind, so now we're descending really fast. I covered that up. You should be able to feel that. You added a little power, lifted the nose. There you go. This is going to be a good landing. Just ride it all the way down. Move your head over and find the center line of the runway. You're about 10 feet, 20 feet left. There you go. Wow, looks good. Little right rudder and try and land right on the center line. Perfect. Wow, that's perfect. That's really nice. So just let it roll out. Ooh. Yeah, you're not getting off there in this plane. We'll do a full stop here, and we'll do a short field takeoff here maybe. So I don't know. I can't really tell if there's a slight tailwind. I think you might have gotten blown that way a little bit. I thought when I checked earlier, it said the wind was out at 270. This guy I used to cycle with, I think he bought that plane. And
nice.
Man, this place is dead as a doornail, isn't it?
Sure is. Okay. Right off the landing, flaps up. Mixture, throttle to 1,000. Carb heat is off. Landing lights right, trim wheel set for takeoff. And good. Okay.
I feel like we're in Montana or something here, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it feels like it.
We are absolutely out in the middle of nowhere. I don't think I've ever eaten at that restaurant. I'll have to give that a try sometime.
Yeah.
I don't really have a good reason to eat lunch at Hamilton though, since I only live 10 minutes from here.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a good landing. I'm thinking you might have that down. It's very calm, so it's good to be able to do it in calm winds, and then we can, you know, start working on some. So when I said get over the runway center line, you did. A lot of times people get really confused and they're like, do I use rudder or do I just lean? You know, I have people leaning their body, like trying to do, you know, that works if you're a ballerina or an ice skater or a gymnast, I guess. But I've actually had a couple people who were ice skaters and gymnasts, and I couldn't figure it out. And then they later told me, and I was like, oh, that's why you're always trying to lean
into it.
Yeah, but the planes are, you know, this thing weighs 3,000 pounds. You're not going to move this plane with your body, at least not that to that degree. But yeah, you'll see a lot of people trying to like get over the center line by leaning, and you're like, try your feet or your hands. Yeah, so alignment, the yaw portion is with your rudder.
Yes.
And that's, you know, when you do that, it's going to pull you to the right or left. You'll be nice and straight, but you're going to get pulled. Now you got to use the aileron to get back over the center line, which you did.
Right.
So that was perfect. Okay. Good. Yeah, that landing you had last week that I was standing down here and took was exceptional.
Okay. So, before takeoff, flaps as required. 0, mixtures full rich, carbine is off, lights as required, trim set for takeoff, fuel valve on both. Heading indicator 30. Transponder 1200, altitude time, VRVY is 55 and 76. Hamilton traffic, Cessna 62862, departing runway 21, Hamilton.
Everything looks good to me. Nobody on final, and just close this up and we'll be all set.
Yep.
Yeah, that last pattern seemed like you got really wide, but it really wasn't. It was a very small amount of deviation. It was probably a little wind. Okay, so right on the center line. Pretend the examiner's with you and you're trying to impress him that you are in complete control of this aircraft.
Speed's alive.
And that the runway is
50.
half the width and there's trees on
55.
both sides.
Rotate.
And now you're going for a VY climb. So there you go. You just let the airspeed pick up. While we're here, why don't we do one of these soft fields that Raphael was having a problem with too, because it's a really simple maneuver that is one of the things that the examiner can use to judge your flying skills. So the soft field, we're going to approach the landing at 65 knots.
Put number 2 in the pattern behind the Skyhawk.
The whole goal is to approach the runway as if it was really soft dirt or grass that you don't want the nose wheel to flop in. Have we done an actual soft field? We have done. Yeah, okay, so when you're at an actual soft field, if you let the nose down hard, it's going to go, even the main gear is going to go into the grass or the dirt and pull the whole plane, rotate forward. So what you want to do is come down to the runway. I'm going to demonstrate one, so if you get me on a 1 mile final, I'll do one, then you can do one. it's a good thing to start practicing early. Don't worry about that thing that just fell off. We'll get it later.
Central Jersey traffic, Skyhawk is turning downwind for 25, Central Jersey number 2 in the pattern.
So this is where I said just have a look over at the runway so you know where you are.
Traffic, better access 4 is just east of the field over the shoreline. Level 7, about 4 miles south of the pit, inbound for landing. That's not just traffic.
Man, I don't know what's going on here. There we go. A little squelch.
Hamilton traffic 6362, turn in left base 21, Hamilton traffic.
So it's almost impossible that you're not going to be a little high here, right? Because we started at 900 feet on our base. Man, the sun is just beaming across the landscape here. Beautiful out here. So you got the end of the runway in sight?
Yes, I
It's
do.
going to be very tricky. So when we get on when we get on 1 mile final here, I'm just going to give you some instructions. I'm going to grab the plane from you.
Aircraft is lining up and holding at Central Jersey. Be advised.
I'm going to grab this right now. I have the plane.
You have the plane?
Yep, I have the plane. We have full power. So our goal is to try and approach the field. We want to be stabilized again at 500 feet. So there's the ball centered, and I got a lot of power out because I just want to get lined up here. So we're going to come down here. We want to be at 65 knots, normal glide path, nothing crazy. It's not a short field, it's a soft field.
Right.
So what's our airspeed?
65.
Okay, good. So that was lucky. I'm going to add a little power because we're descending a little too fast. We have 30 degrees of flaps.
We do.
Carb heat is on.
He's on.
There's 65. I'm aiming to land on the second stripe. When we get down here, we're going to fly in ground effect. So I'm going to add a little bit of power.
Okay.
The goal is to fly in ground effect for, I don't know, a couple stripes worth. So we picked up a little power. This might be a full 65. Taxi back. So there's 65. When I get down 5 feet off the runway, we're going to add a little power and fly in ground effect right off the runway. Feel this?
Yes.
And now we're going to try and lift the nose. We want the plane to be going really slow when the main gear touches down. We're going to hold the nose off the ground. And we're going to continue. I can still control this with the rudder.
Right.
And I'm holding off, but I never touch the brakes.
Right.
And the wheel comes down by itself.
Okay.
But we never want to hit the brakes here because there's grass.
Okay.
So we might, the grass will be slowing us down here.
Right.
So we're going to get off. I can't simulate that without doing anything dangerous. So in a real grass field situation, we would have stopped, the minute we touched down. We would have had to add power, actually. So, the ground effect part, is if you read, do you have that blue book, the Flight Maneuvers Illustrated?
In my bag, yes.
Okay, so when you get home tonight, I want you to read that. It actually tells you, I believe that one says to come down, getting ground effect a couple feet off the runway. The whole goal is to not come slamming down 500 feet per minute into the grass and then get stuck. It's to come down. Now you're flying along the runway, and you're going to then lift the nose and take the power out. And the wheels touch down, like, super gently. And then you're holding the nose, power's all the way back, nose all the way high, keeping it out of the grass because you're simulating that. And you never touch the brakes and maintain directional control till you...
Okay.
Not till you stop, until you get off the runway.
Right. Because you don't want to stop.
I'm going to grab this for you because you're...
Off the landing. Okay. Flaps, mixture, throttle. Carb heat is off, and ice trim was out. Okay.
So give one of those a try.
Okay.
Turns out there's a couple maneuvers that the DPEs use to judge your flying skill. One is the short field landing, because you really have to have good control of the airspeed to do that. And the second one turns out to be this
soft field.
Soft field. And it's confusing to people because they think, oh, he's never going to ask me to do a soft field because there's no soft field. He just says simulated on the runway. And I think what happens is people forget, you got to, touch down really gently and at a slow airspeed. And, that takes a little bit of finesse.
Right.
And then the second thing is
holding it back.
Yeah, because that nose is so high you can't see over it. So look out the window, and you can actually see with your peripheral vision that, hey, I'm going off the runway one way or the other.
Right. And you still can able to
You can
control
steer
it.
with the rudder. I mean, we still have some rudder control when we're going 30 or 40 knots.
I definitely think that the short field landing is one to test your mettle.
Well, is that a guy down there?
Yes, it is. It's the same guy we saw.
Yeah, interesting.
It's just exercise.
He might be, or... Yeah, the short field is another good one. We'll practice that, but this one's tricky because they want to make sure you can do all these maneuvers, and this one takes a little finesse, especially if you're going to fly the airplane over the runway and ground effect for a couple minutes or a couple seconds rather.
Right, and you're just letting the speed bleed off.
Yep.
And touching down on the main and holding it back.
Yeah, it's I know, I haven't done one of those simulated for a long time, and it was really odd that he threw one of those at Raphael, and it was kind of the last thing he threw at him, and it was during the cascading.
Yeah.
So
And
just lesson learned that they can throw anything at you at any time.
Is that
stop here.
Is that the same examiner for the other guy? Raphael just had before Raphael.
Who else went there? I can't remember. Oh, Marlin.
Marlin, yeah.
Yep.
That's the same guy?
Yeah, and he got a very different check ride than Marlin, it sounds like. Okay, so before takeoff checklist, and we'll just go do one more of these here.
Okay, before takeoff, flaps up as required, flaps as required. Mixture set for rich, carb heat is off, lights, trim set for takeoff. Fuel valve, both transponder 1200 altitude. 55 and 76.
So everything looks set to me, and we still have plenty of fuel, right?
Yes, we do.
There's no lights, and circuit breakers are all good.
Hamilton traffic, 62862, departing runway 21, Hamilton.
Nobody in the pattern.
I should still get used to saying it right.
What's that?
The radio call.
You absolutely should always do it. There have been plenty times when, somebody comes out of nowhere. Okay, so again, nice, clean, straight out, BY. Call out the rotation speed, call out your climb.
Airspeed's alive. We have 40, 45, 50.
And just
55,
to anticipate, you'll need a little right rudder in the climb and maybe a little left aileron. There you go. Yeah, the guy really wants to know that you're flying the plane, not the opposite. And these guys, they do 2 or 3 check rides a week. They know when someone can fly, and they always tell you, they can tell if somebody can fly in the first 15 or 25 seconds.
Wow.
Which is frightening to me, but it's probably because when someone has a sloppy departure, they know right away. The good news is these guys are generally very fair, and they want you to be successful, but they also...
Heritage traffic, Archer 151 Golf, 15 miles east of the fields, inbound for landing, runway 28, touching no, Heritage Field.
Yeah, this guy was telling us a little story afterwards about a guy who he said, I gave him a check ride, and he had a couple weaknesses, and then, a couple months later, he ended up doing something stupid right on the runway and killed 3 people.
Oh, shit.
He's like, so, don't be looking for any leniency from me, because I already learned that lesson the hard way. Yeah, and I think what he was describing, the guy just did some sloppy airmanship on a departure or a go-around or something, and stalled the plane at 50 feet and then flipped right over, and that was the end of it. Okay, so back to this. You got it, man. You got your carb heat on. You can put your flaps in because Raphael has now discovered that I've been making them do it
late.
Well, I just want to make sure they don't start putting them in before they're in their white arc, but the first notch is fine. So the real trick is when we get down to the runway environment, we're gonna lift the nose, get in ground effect about 5 feet over the runway. You're gonna add a little power, only about 50 RPMs, 50 to 100 max, and then you're just gonna slowly let it out so that the nose is high and we land on the main wheels, and then you can continue to use your rudder to stay aligned with the runway and in the center as you can. And when you're in a real grass field, as you know, we'll stop really fast as opposed to on a asphalt runway.
Right. Total Jersey traffic, arrow star is 45 to left downwind 25 Central Jersey.
Hamilton traffic 62862, turn in left base 21 Hamilton.
So the sight picture, there you go. It changed a little bit too much. That's way better.
Landing Ocean City, Mini, 995 kilos, about
So see if you can find the runway end right now, because that was a little bit more than 90, but that's good. Just trying to keep an eye on your airspeed while you're flying. It looks good though.
Traffic, 79920, 4 miles to the northeast.
Some other flaps will really help you out right now. You can put them all in because we're getting ready to turn. Probably you're going to be a little bit high, but nothing that's not manageable.
Hamilton traffic 62862, turn in final 21 Hamilton.
Try to intercept that center line as far out as you can. Out here somewhere, that'll give you a little more time. So one thing you could do, I was going to say a little forward slip, but we're getting pretty close. So let's just take a little power out. We might land a little bit long. So we're at least 100 feet high right now. So you can take a, there you go. This plane only has 30 degrees of flap, so we got to kind of work it. So this will be a full stop landing no matter what. A little power, little power, little power, nose up, nose up. Now we're going to fly in ground effect. And now lift the nose really high, way higher. Pull it all the way back. And right rudder now, and just keep the back pressure. You got it. So that was a really good first attempt. Given that we started a little high, you actually managed the speed all the way down to the runway. And I looked over when you were getting ready to do the ground effect, you were at 65, so that was good. Sorry, I gotta kill this alarm. Probably missed it now. Might go off again. That was actually a good first attempt. So it must be...
London Airport, automated weather observation at 2130.
I don't think I did that. I think that might have come... Somebody else might be coming into the pattern and turned it on.
Wind sky conditions.
Because I just saw the lights come
Temperature
on.
10 Celsius, 2.2 Celsius.
I don't see anyone now.
6%. Density altitude missing. Condensation altitude 4,200.
Landing nice and trim bell set.
That was good though. I liked it. I think you have the, first of all, you got the airspeed, even though we came in really steep, you got the airspeed back down to 65 when we were starting to round out. So we would have used the whole runway.
Right.
If it was a soft field, obviously we want to land as close to the approach end of the runway as possible. But there's, other than the fact we got a little high, and that was mostly because there was sun shining in your eyes, right?
And I think I cut the turn on base short.
What's on fire over here, man? I see, at first I thought it was fog drifting across, but now I can see it's smoke, right?
Yeah, you can smell it.
It's always somebody burning trash out here, blueberry bushes or something. Yeah, that was good. That was a good first attempt at that, and
that's something I can practice on the sim.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like a real feel issue, as opposed to the things you can approach on do on the sim maybe are just practicing your VOR stuff and some of your navigation stuff.
That's what I wanted to go because they have a GD450 GDS, a Garmin navigation.
This is a GTX. I don't know. GTN 430. 430 or there's a 420 because it's missing the nav piece. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm trying to navigate. I was trying to navigate to Hamilton. I was trying to simulate.
Oh, you mean not with a piece of hardware, just clicking it with your mouse? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's so hard. I actually bought the
actual. Well, they have it in the plane.
I know, but I bought the
unit. Yeah.
I bought a sim one
unit.
Of these when I was doing my instrument or my multi-engine.
Once you put it in, it's set. You just put it in before you move.
So when you're doing an approach, though, you got to do so much manipulation that you need the buttons. And then,
oh, I see.
But yeah, it works for what you're talking about, no problem. As long as you can set it up before you leave and put the flight plan in.
Yeah. Oh, when it comes to approach, I'm not doing that because I'm doing visual. I'm doing VFR. That's for your instrument, isn't it?
I needed it for my multi-engine instrument instructor one, where I had to do a couple simulated approaches with one engine, but they actually make this unit. I think they're like $400 or $500. It was worth it though, because that's like 1 hour of flying.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so
you put it in perspective.
Yeah, believe me, that adds up really fast.
Well,
okay, let's do a. You want to do a VX departure out of here?
Yes.
All right. So go ahead and finish your.
Okay, so before take off, flaps as required, full rich, the carpet is off, lights as required, set for takeoff, here's the trim, fuel valve on both, heading indicator recheck.
300, let's just make it, you'll see when you get out on the runway, that's pretty close, 305, I guess. I don't know, I can't see exactly, but 305.
Yeah.
302 or something.
There you go. Document time 55, VX is 60.
So let's see what we're going to do here. So I think it's going to call for 10 degrees of flaps, so we're going to look back here. Gene has made all these up beautifully and gone through and pulled out all the information we need. So short field takeoff is going to be 10 degrees of flaps, lift nose at 51, climb at 56. So this is really, so let's just review that one more time. 10 degrees of flaps, you can go ahead and set that right now. Lift nose at 51. So that's just a little before, so we're not going to do a hard rotation.
Right.
We're just going to lift the nose wheel off the ground. Plane's going to start flying, and we're going to climb at 56 instead of 76, right?
Okay.
Right, that was 76. So the VX, we're going to climb at 56, but then down here it says VX is 60. So this is insane. Let's just do 60, all right?
Okay.
Because you're going to see how steep 60 is.
Right.
So we're going to lift the nose at 51, and we're going to climb at 60.
51 is going to get us off.
Yeah, and then you're just going to pull back to 60. So I'm going to be the guy who pushes forward if need be. So if you...
Well, you know what? Why don't you be the guy to do it? And then I can just watch the procedure.
Well, get me out on the runway, and we'll do it together.
Hamilton traffic, 62862, departing runway 21, Hamilton.
Have you seen the video of the guy who just put it into the ground up in North Jersey where he took off on a go-around, he had a departure stall and flipped it over. He just missed, so we are going to do, if it's a real short field, let's get lined up at the center line. I'm just going to pull this up here for you. We would normally get way back, as far back as we could, right, to use the whole runway.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go brakes on, right?
Yeah.
You can add full power. We got 10 degrees of flaps only. Everything else is good. I want to double check that. We're going to release the brakes all the way, and then we're just going to maintain our center line with no brakes. And then we said we're going to lift the nose 51, and then we're going for 60. So you're going to see
40, 45, 50.
We're just going to lift the nose. And now we got to get to 60. So what are we now, 55?
Yeah, 55, yeah, 50.
Okay, so this plane doesn't actually have enough power to really...
Yeah, so we have to put the nose down a bit.
Yeah. So that's kind of odd. Normally we can get to 60 no problem in this plane. So we're going to...
There's still not a... Right
we really, yeah, let's put the nose down.
Yeah.
We really didn't get what we were looking for there in terms of performance. Because I had the throttle all the way in.
Right.
We'll try that in a different plane. I'm going to give you the plane back.
I have the plane.
Let's just go straight out and turn right. There's nobody here.
Okay.
We're going to use pilotage and go right back up 206.
Traffic, Archer 1 mile final, runway 28, touch and go, right to traffic.
Now, this would be a situation if you were out here by yourself at night, right, or at dusk.
Right.
You got to get back to the Flying W. You can either use your iPad.
This is what I will use. In addition to?
Well, we can just follow Route 206, which is right there. So just do a hard 90.
10 mile left.
Yeah, that was really odd. We did not get the performance we normally get out of this. Normally getting to 60 in a BX climb is really easy in this plane.
Oh, what a beautiful picture.
I know, that is beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so you got good control of the ball there. That's a nice standard right turn. So there's Chislehurst Towers. We know we got to go another 90 degrees. 206 is going to be right under you here.
Yes.
You got it?
Yeah.
You want to keep it out your window, so if you keep the turn coming. What happened to the highway?
Right to traffic, Archer 1 final golf, 3 mile final, runway 28.
So do you have 206 out the window anywhere?
Yes, I do. It's right here.
Okay, so just follow that to the north.
All right, I'm going for 2,000
I'm just going to try and keep an eye on this guy. I don't know if that's an airliner or another light plane. I can't tell yet. Actually, I lost all of my ADS-B for some reason, so... Keep an eye on that guy real quick while I check my devices. Yeah, I got nothing. Wonder how long that was off. Disconnected. Yeah, keep an eye on that guy. I think he's probably several thousand feet above us.
Yeah, he looks it.
Says we're connected to the GDL. Oh, I see what happened. Something happened with this pencil.
After traffic, Archer 1 final golf, 2 mile final, runway 28, touch and go.
Okay, now we're connected. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, he's about, that's a Republic Airlines jet at plus 4,500 feet. So you can continue to follow 206 if you have it visually.
I do.
And this guy is probably on an instrument approach to Philly, right?
Yeah.
If we actually pull up an instrument approach plate for Philly, we'll actually probably see.
Pittsburgh traffic, East Jet 442 Golf Juliet, 3 mile final runway 29.
After traffic, short final, runway 28, touch and go, exit traffic.
Yeah, so he's passed behind us, and he's probably going to land on the short runway at Philadelphia. And he just passed, like, right behind you, too.
Yeah, but he's way up there, too.
Not really. He's just going to cross into the Class Bravo at 3,500 feet. See, he's going to stay at 3,500 right till he gets into the Bravo, and then he'll begin his descent. I don't know what their approach frequency is there.
Like that, maneuvering climb off to the northeast of the airport, 1,600 here.
123.8, let's see what that does. I don't hear any of these approach frequencies. I'm 1238.
10-633, proceed direct east check. 1033, proceed direct east check. Affirmative, proceed direct Echo Tango X-ray.
Echo Tango X-ray, 1033.
Yeah, he's getting lined up at the short runway at Philadelphia. I don't know what frequency they're on now, I can't tell. One, 238 it says. Okay, so where are you relative to 206? Crossed over at sign yet?
I haven't. Well, there's the horse park.
That's not the one near the airport though.
Oh.
This is the one out on that sign road, so. Do you know where the 206 went?
The 206 is coming around.
Okay, so don't lose it. Just follow it all the way up. So if you're out here at night, it's real easy to find the Flying W from 206. And there's a good altitude to be at. So just follow 206 up and be aware of that big thing that looks like a high school is McGuire, yeah. So we want to stay as far away from there as we can without an iPad or some other awareness tools. We're getting ready to go into the Philadelphia Bravo airspace. We just need to make sure we're below 3,500 or actually 4,000 here.
I'm glad you told me that's not that horse track because
you were going to try and land right there?
I'll be clicking the life out of this button trying to light up the runway.
Well, first of all, our controls weren't, our radio wasn't set. 126475 is McGuire. We'll just listen to McGuire for a minute till you know you're near. Because, you know, whenever it starts getting dark, we don't have to be talking to McGuire, but 126475, if you got lost right now and you were like, you know, I need to get to the airport fast, it's getting dark, you could say, McGuire approach 62862, need some vectors for November 14, student pilot, and they would say something like, November 62862, squawk 4021, and you would put squawk 4021, and they'll probably say ident, so you'd hit the ident button, we're not going to do that, and then the guy might say, you know, 62862, McGuire altimeter is 3010. You'd say 3010, and he'd say 62862, let's see, where are we? We're still a little ways out, aren't we? He might say something like, 62862, give me a left turn to heading 310 and descend to 2,000 feet. That's for you.
Okay.
So turn 310 and 310 and descend to 2,000 feet. While you're doing that, I'm actually going to set us up here. I still got November 1 in here, sorry. Remember, oh, I just lost it.
So now we're deviating off.
This is 519 Belmar Airport. Is that your 2 o'clock and 10
Yeah,
miles?
sorry, I'm giving you vectors now. You got lost.
Right.
Jet 519 has field sight.
Jet 519 cleared visual approach to Belmar Airport. Report your FR cancellation in the air on this frequency or on the ground would require clearance delivery. Change advisory frequency is approved. Before you go, I am observing multiple traffic at your 2 o'clock in about 6 miles northbound 1000.
Group 1 is about 10 miles to your southwest at 1000.
Okay, so
east side of Hartford County
62862, give me a left turn to 300. Descend down to 1,800 feet.
Roger that.
So you got 1228 in here.
Right.
I'm just going to grab us some ATIS.
Automated weather observation 2147 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 06 Celsius. Dew point 01 Celsius. Altimeter 3011.
3011.
For marks, density altitude minus 1,100. Automated weather observation 2148 Zulu. Wind calm.
Okay, wind's calm. So 62862, descend down to 1,500, 1,500.
Maintain heading.
Yep, maintain 300. And 62862, go ahead and try and activate the lighting at November 14 on 1228.
1228. Okay. I see.
And 62862, Flying W, November 14 Airport is going to be about 45 degrees off of your nose to the right, and just hold this heading for another minute and we'll get you aligned with the center line of, extended center line of the runway. Let me know if you see the airport.
I see the airport.
62862, VFR, descend at your discretion. November 14 should just be off your right there.
Roger that. Thank you.
Flying W traffic, 62862. 62862, we're going to be inbound 4 miles out, straight in, runway 1, full stop. Okay, so we need to get down just a hair. We're just a little bit high, so go ahead and get yourself lined up first. See the rotating beacon over there in the trees?
Do, yes.
So this would be a good place to, get a little flapped. You put all your flaps in, you can't yet. So you can take some power out, lift the nose. Help us slow down a little bit, because there you go. Now you can dump the rest of the flaps in all at once, because we're gonna, and to be honest, I like to be a little bit high here because we know there's trees. So let's plan on being about 50 to 75 feet high, and try and make sure you can always see all those green runway lights.
Roger that.
Because you can see there's a tree blocking the center portion. I'm just going to do a quick check. Mixture is full rich, carb heat's on, flaps are full, fuel's on both, you got your lights on, and everything looks good to me. So we're going to land a little long because we're going over these trees, and I want you to be a little bit high. So this is actually going to be a real short field landing. So you're descending, you're stabilized. You now can see over the trees at all of the threshold lights. So you can keep the nose pointed down, maybe to the second stripe, and start working the power back. So keep the nose pointed down. Don't let yourself pull the power all the way out. Push it.
I'll push it like that. Okay.
Yeah. So now I just on the power on the controls with you. You were good here. So we're going to stay right here. Now we're going to do a nice round out, and we're just going to gently pull back and lose all this airspeed and touch down beautifully right there. And you got the plane.
I have the plane.
So McGuire helped you get some vectors to land there. And if you couldn't find the airport, you just say, hey, that wasn't it. That was a parking lot. I'm doing a go around. I need some vectors to somewhere else. Trenton, Northeast Philly, South Jersey. Couldn't find Flying W. The lights never came on. That is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
well, red sky at night, so should be good tomorrow.
You had enough for today?
Oh, I'm good. Actually. Flaps up. Make sure it's full rich, throttle to 1,000. Have you had enough for today? Is more to the point. I'm sure you have.
Good. I just,
All right.
I do want to get you down to Hamilton by yourself. I think you're looking pretty good. Felt all right, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Tomorrow will be even better because I've been out here today and...
Yeah, well, I definitely didn't want you to go down there by yourself after it had been 2 weeks, because I forgot you knew where the tennis place was, but that wasn't going to be a good enough landmark.
Right.
God, they're doing something in there again. All right, I'm going to kill this GoPro because we're probably out of